A lot of times, like people get hit on the nose like a dog and they just back away. You need to push. Guys, like closers know you need to get them to agree to say yes as many times as you can. Like when I go in someone's home, the first thing I say is, hey, can I get a glass of water? They go, oh, yes, right? I'm trying to get them to agree with things with me. And I've reluctantly pushed probably like times, almost humorously so, to the point where it's like, hey, John, you said no to me 3 times, yet you want me to give you this thing and I've told you what it takes for me to give it to you. When can I come by? You know what I mean? Like I'll take the time and they'll laugh and be like, fine, man. For those of you who don't know, my name is David Robio. I'm a local agent here in the Greater Toronto area. Don't know where everyone's from. So GTA is located in Ontario in Canada. I sell a ton of real estate for the past, I've been in real estate since August of 2017. And so that's coming up on 8 years now. And I've been $1 million producer for the past 5. And just for context, when I say $1 million producer, that means I'm actually personally generating over $1 million in commission every year. So I just like to kind of put an asterisk beside that. So I personally, my team that I run will do more, but I personally been grossing over $1 million in commissions for the past 5 years in a row. So definitely know a little bit about real estate and definitely can give you guys some insight and some value. And yeah, so listen, we got 13 people on this call. Guys, who wants to learn what questions are burning at the tip of your mind that you would love to get some answers, some clarity around? What do we got going on here? What's the room like?
I have a question.
Yep.
So a few of the people I've called now, once I get them on the phone, they always just say they don't have time to talk. I try starting that conversation, getting them talking a little bit. I try to keep it under 5 minutes, but each time it seems like they hang up on me before I can get really what I'm looking for.
Awesome. Objection handling. So there was no time. Cool. And then you get hung up on. Awesome, brother. Okay, cool. Anything else from anyone? And you'll see like I'm writing things down because I got the answer. Like that's just a reminder for me. Like I got the answer to all these. I would be very shocked if you guys asked me a question that I wouldn't be able to answer. So please feel free to fire away any other questions or anything specific you think you need a little bit of answering for. I'd love to give you guys some clarity on that.
Hey, David.
Hey, how are you?
Good. I'm 21 years an agent. I'm new to Mescula.
Awesome.
I'm pretty aggressive and knowledgeable with my business. But what I'm finding is my second weekend, and I realized that I made quite a mistake. What I did is I had my assistant sending out an email as soon as I got the lead that has an attachment on it. Let's get it sold. You know, here's my seller presentation. Here's my resume, what to do. And I realized that most of these people, they're at the stage where they're just like, what am I worth? So I stopped that. And what I think I'm going to do is the ones that I can't connect with on the phone, which has been most of them, they don't call back. I keep leaving messages. I'm actually going to drive out with a CMA to meet them in person. How do you feel about that?
Love it. Yeah, you guys should all take one thing from that, which is, and sorry, what was your name again?
Abby.
Abby. Here's one thing I love about Abby right away is she's like, oh shit, I ran and started doing execution rather than overthought perfection and already stubbing my toes, realizing, this might not be the right way about it. And that's what everyone needs to do. That's what I do. I don't think all day, what's the perfect whatever. We just shoot and fire and see if we hit the target or not. And I love that, Abby. So we actually do the exact same thing. We try to connect with the contact 10 times. Our goal, we call them right away. So we call 3 times in the first day. And again, I'm not saying that this is what we do. We have good success with it. I call 3 times within the first day. I send them a voicemail, let them know who it is, why it is that I called. And then I also send them an email and a text, just letting them know, hey, you would have reached out. We'd love to give you that value. Pretty low pressure. But one of the things is, especially if it's a nice home, like north of 2 million, and I'm really excited about it, I personally will go out there, drop off a seller package and drop off like a general CMA thing. So I think that's great. Right. I don't do that for all of them. Like, again, anything under that, like 1.5, I'm probably not even too enticed to go do that, but I don't think that's a bad idea at all. So I love that. Anything else at all that, was pressing in that questionnaire there that I can give some clarity for you?
Okay. No, I'm good with everything. I just wanted to know if, again, I'd be stepping on my own toes by going out. And I'm not do like my typical 2-hour CMA where I look at every property and I get an idea. I'm going to run an RPR and be done with it.
Yeah, so what you kind of want to do is enough to, what we like to do is confuse the consumer. So that's like a little phrase that I do. I like to confuse the consumer.
Say that again.
Confuse the consumer. That's what we do. And the reason I like to do that is because then you show people how much really goes on behind the scenes. So it's like, hey, here's the general averages in market, the list of sales ratio, the dollar cost per square foot, the land value, this, and then they're like, fuck, what's my house worth? Like,
right.
I got all this. It's like, I got you the paint and the canvas, but now you need the artist to go and paint the picture for you. So we like to do that to confuse people, to show them that they do need us to advise them through the data so they can better make a move and better plan things and stuff like that. Right. So, I'll touch on
what you're is maybe instead of bringing them a complete CMA that's computer generated that's closed, because I don't know interior features, maybe it's better to take a spreadsheet from the MLS of everything active, pending, and closed in their subdivision, printed out, like 15 pages, and say, this is what's going on in your subdivision.
Yeah, I would do something that's super, like, that's what we do. Just general, hey, here's the pocket, 1 kilometer radius. If I know it's a detached, I might only include detached, not semis or anything like that. Just get a general spread. That's enough where they're like, okay, I got data, but I don't have clarity. I'm still a little bit confused.
Right.
And I would send that, and then I would send them our seller's guide to show them that we're the advisors to bring that sense of clarity when they're ready for it. And again, if they're not home, I leave it at the door, and then I'll send them a quick text. Hey, John, just drop something off on your doorstep. Just do me a favor. Let me know you got it once it's received. Something super simple like that if they don't answer, right? And everyone has a Ring doorbell nowadays, so I'm pretty cheeky with that. I'll ring that, and then it'll say, please record your message. So I'll leave a message being like, hey, John, I'm trying to call you a couple of times. I was just in the area connecting with another one of your neighbors to give them an updated value. I already put together some pretty generic homework. Just figured I'd print you a second copy and drop it off to see if I caught you. I guess I got you at the wrong time. Here's an info packet. Once you get it, just give me a call. Brother, hope you're having a great day. God bless. Cheers. And I would leave it and I'd bounce. So.
All right. One more question.
Yep.
I'm in Boca Raton, Boynton Beach, Delray Beach area in Florida, and a lot of our communities are gated. Now, obviously, I can print something off of the MLS, like I'm going to go view it and get into the gated community. How do you feel about knocking on someone's door in a gated community unexpected?
Yeah, great question. So we definitely don't have any gated communities where we are, right? We don't have any like association memberships or anything like that. So it's bittersweet because we do, I was actually just with my business partner and we were door knocking kind of similar to what you guys would call like waterfront properties. We were door knocking properties that were like 14, 15, 20 million and up. And if the gates are closed prospectively, we'd ring the little doorbell to see if we can connect with them. If not, we'd carry on. But the gates that were open and we found that people were doing like landscaping work or I'd walk right in. And I'm like, worst case scenario, they're going to yell at us and say get off the property, but it's never happened once because we're pretty, well-dressed, really polished, super respectful of everyone's time. And it's been pretty, so I think if it's closed, I'm not going through and we can't get through if I can't ring. And if it's open, I'm rolling through. That's my 2 cents.
Okay.
I'd rather ask for permission because I'm just a nice guy. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, David.
No worries. My pleasure. Anyone else? Anything specifically that's kind of that I can answer for them?
Thank you, Abby, for that proactivity. I do have Stephanie on the chat. She asked a couple questions, and also Haniva asked some questions.
Cool, man. Can you rip those for me? I'm blind.
Of course. Yeah. Stephanie, I mean, if you want to go ahead and just ask directly, if that's okay.
Hi. Okay, so I get 2 things a lot, which is pretty common here in South Florida. They're going to pretend that they don't speak English, which who knows if they do, who knows if they don't. I am in the process of learning Spanish. I just don't feel like I'm still struggling with the English with converting them. So I just really don't feel good enough with the Spanish. I don't know if you have a solution to that one. And then another one is when I'm telling them, when I'm trying to pitch to go to the house, they're saying, why do you need to come to the house? You can just give me a value over the phone.
Yeah. So number one, I definitely don't have a language barrier script. I would probably, me personally, like, I'm in a numbers business, right? So I don't really care. I just scrap it and move on. Like, is it worth my time to learn Spanish, or like, I'm just gonna move on. Although Spanish is a sick language, so I'd probably learn it anyways. So anyways, well, going to your next question there, it's super simple where it's like, this is what I ask someone. I say, hey, John, listen, love to give you this evaluation. And you guys, these are kind of what I do. I say, hey, listen, there's typically 3 types of evaluations that we can actually provide. The first of which is you need to get an updated value because you need to know what your equity position is because you're planning to refinance your home. Or you're doing estate planning purposes. Maybe you're going through separation or just getting your will tightened up and you need to get an updated letter of opinion. And the last one is you just want to know what your home would sell for in our current market. If you have to sell your home within 12 months, what's the one you're looking to get? And they're like, hey, I'm looking to sell in the next 12 months. I go, awesome. I go push for the appointment if I get that level of resistance. And I'd be like, listen, I can give you some generic numbers if you want. You can actually probably assemble it upon yourself. But for me to give you an accurate representation as to what your home's worth, I'm going to have to walk through it for 5 or 10 minutes or so. So then I'd ask again. If they say no, I go, hey, no problem. When's the last time you bought your home? Did you buy it within the past 2 or 3 years? And they go, no, I bought it 15 years ago. And it's like, I can't even get any good interiors of your home. And I'd say, hey, listen, John, have you done any work to your home over the past 15 years? And here's the cool thing. People love talking about their home. They're like, yeah, we ripped up the carpet. We did hardwood floors. And I'm like, oh, man, it seems like you did a lot of really good work. I think I'm going to do your home a really big disservice if I just give you a general value like every other amateur. When can I just pop by for 10 minutes, man? And so you'll notice I just closed 3 times. And that's what you need to do sometimes. A lot of times what happens, and I see that you have your dog there, a lot of times like people get hit on the nose like a dog and they just back away. You need to push. Guys, like closers know you need to get them to agree to say yes as many times as you can. Like when I go in someone's home, the first thing I say is, hey, can I get a glass of water? They go, oh, yes. Right? I'm trying to get them to agree with things with me. And I've reluctantly pushed probably like times, almost humorously so, to the point where it's like, hey, John, you said no to me 3 times, yet you want me to give you this thing. And I've told you what it takes for me to give it to you. When can I come by? You know what I mean? Like I'll take the time and then they'll laugh and be like, fine, man. And you never know when you have to break through. It's typically around the 3rd time because they don't know you. They don't want a random stranger in their house. So that's what I would do if I were you. I would try to pry around a little bit more and let them know you're coming from a place of compassion and to deliver that level of service. And that just comes from genuinely knowing the process and what it is that you're talking about. So that would be some of my insight for you. So hopefully that helped. Awesome. I see another hand raised there. Brother, how are you?
Good, good. Appreciate that advice.
Oh, my pleasure.
In Canada, we actually had our interest rate go down today, which is big news. This is the 4th one in a row. It dropped by half a point down to 3.75%, which is fairly good. And market analysis shows that it's expected to drop to below 3% by March. This hasn't happened to me yet. Again, like I said, it just dropped, but the buyer mindset is that I should wait because it's going to drop lower. Whereas I try to convince them and I'll sit with them and I'll do the math where it's, hey, buy now because prices are cheap now. They're going to go up as the interest rate goes down. Buy now, get a variable rate. Once the interest rate goes down a bit more, fix it at whatever you're comfortable with. That way it's a win-win. You get a cheap property and a low interest rate.
Yeah. So here's, I'm just going to interrupt you right away.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. Anyone on this call disagree with him? No, this makes sense. Let's get something now before competition increases, values increases, get a big lock in later. Here's the challenge I would pose to you, man. You're 100% right. Hard though to convince dumb people.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that dumb, but for me personally, my team has seen it. If I have a call with someone and they're just dumb, I don't mind, man. I'm gonna save my time and reservation for educated people because they really appreciate my advice. So I'm just gonna, again, it's a numbers game. Churn and burn. Let's move on to the next one. So You're not wrong. I'm telling people the same thing right now. It's like, listen, here's a great opportunity. And you got to spin things as well, right? We're in sales. So it's like, hey, amazing. Like you listen to someone's situation and you always start with, wow, I actually have an amazing opportunity. And then you start jumping into, based upon your situation, X, Y, Z, right? And then you go position it to them like that. And if they still are just reluctant or they don't know, or they're taking advice from their uncle, their mom, their dad, I'm like, cool. Like, that's great. I wish you the best of luck, right? Like, if you want to, like, I always joke with people too. And I go, hey, listen, John, if you were on trial for murder, your mom loves you, right? Obviously wants what's best for you. Would you retain her as your legal counsel? No, of course not, right? Like you would go consult with a lawyer. And I say the problem with real estate is the barrier to entry is so low. So everyone's opinions are kind of equal. And it's the very few that are actually doing it at a high level that people really value. And you're talking to one of those guys, man. Don't put me up against your mom. I'm way better in this vertical. She's better in a lot of other areas. And your uncle's probably a foreman on some construction site. Like God bless him. But when it comes to real estate, like you're calling for advice and I'm here to give you advice, right? Again, though, if you're preaching to the wrong ears, it just falls flat. So don't beat yourself up. You're right. They're wrong. Just go find some people who also agree with you and go do business with them. And anyone that is a time waster, cut them off and bounce. This year alone, guys, to give you context, I've personally sold over $50 million worth of real estate. Okay. This has been a very, really fun year because it put a lot of us to the test. There were so many tire kickers, as you just brought up, that were wasting my time. So many people that were motivated. So we had to get better than ever of actually finding the qualified people who were ready to make a move, whether they had some financial stress, whether they had some job changes, whatever it was. But there was a plethora of curiosity. A lot of people were just curious. And all the agents who didn't do well this year spent too much time with the curious people that were trigger shy. And I spent time with the not curious people, but the serious people, and they paid all my bills. So this was a very good year because even curious people in a freaking crazy market, something will happen. But when markets are like this, those curious people, they don't make decisions fast. They're very slow. And again, I just kind of blanketed it as dumb. I'm not saying they're dumb. I'm just like, it's just dumb. And I don't like to entertain it, right? So hopefully I gave you some good insight there.
Yeah.
You're wrong. They're wrong.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Anyone else have any
Appreciate it.
questions? Because I was going to jump back to the very first objection handling thing if no one else has anything. No? Okay, cool. Well, I got asked a question at the very beginning of the call from someone who was like, hey, David, like I'm calling. I know we've all been there. We're calling. And hey, I don't got time for this right now. Or hey, they'll just hang up on you. It kind of happens to everyone. So there's a couple different avenues, right? Number one, you got to call twice. You can't just dial one time. So I'll call someone. And if they hang up on me, I call back right away. And I just go, hey, sorry, John, looks like our line's disconnected. And I just go right back into it. Because I'm almost like naive to be like, oh, you wouldn't just hang up on me, would you? Like, that's rude. I'm not a rude guy. So that's one thing. The other thing I would say is if someone says, hey, I got no time, and it goes, awesome. Well, you had the time to fill out this inquiry, and I just want to complete that. So that earlier wasn't a waste of time, and I would just go right back into it. It's like reminding them, like you did that thing before, you filled out the survey, you entered this. This is the last piece of the puzzle, man. You actually, if you don't do this, you just wasted all your earlier time. Does that make sense to people? Like that makes sense, right? Like they spent the time, went on Facebook, clicked on the ad, they filled out the things, and like, yeah, I'm interested. And then now that we're doing the hard part of actually getting them so we can help, get their real estate needs answered, they're like, oh, I don't have time. That's just more of like a mechanism. And I would agree, like, hey, listen, oftentimes people say they don't have time, but you initially had the time to fill out the survey in the first place. And this is the piece of the puzzle that's going to make that time not a waste of time. So I just need 2 quick minutes now. And then the whole goal on a phone call, guys, just so you know, it's to forecast. I only need 30 quick seconds, right? And then you hook them. And then it's like, oh, I only need 2 more minutes. So you just got to keep hooking along the way. And you got to get it condensed to try to learn how to book an appointment within the first minute or so. That's kind of like the real sales thing. So if someone hangs up on you, you call back right away. If someone says they have no time, just remind them. And the other thing I've often said is, hey, you know what, John? Sometimes people just fill out those things. They just want a quick generic thing. We actually shut that off to make sure that myself or a member of our team can actually give you the right value for your home, because this is a really big thing for a lot of people. They don't want some generic random answer that's more often than not correct, but it seems like that's what you wanted. And he's like, well, no. And I'm like, okay, cool, man. Well, listen, I'm on the call with you right now. Like, you're talking to one of the top real estate agents in the area. If you give me 2 minutes, man, I can make this 2 minutes really well served for you. And again, how long you've been in the home for? Have you done your renovation? And I just go right into it, right? So, and the other thing too, you have like a good email templated a little bit about you, like testimonials, different ways you've marketed or presented properties, maybe other success stories that you've had around in like a specific area. It's always good after the call, like, hey, John, thanks again for the time today. Just wanted to email you a little bit about myself to maybe put a face to the name, let you know who it was that you were chatting with today. And then I have a templated email that goes out and they can see, oh, wow, this guy said over 100 5-star Google reviews. Oh, wow, this guy sold this much real estate this year. Or what? And then it's like the next time I call them, because so when you do something for them that day and then you send an email, you follow up the next day right away. And you go, hey, John, just want to make sure you got that email. And I was like, oh, it's David. How are you, man? And then boom, the barrier's broken and they know who it is every time I call moving forward. And it's on me to keep that mind share up. And it usually comes by phone calls, texts, and emails, but phone calls are the deepest dagger. That's the one that hits most of people. So you got to be ripping calls. That's what pays the bill. Okay, if they know who you are. If they have no idea who you are, best of luck. I don't even respond to my accounting team's email. I don't deal with it. These Muscula guys, when they're trying to connect with me down, they know if they email me, it's not happening. They got to call me to get this booked for Wednesday, right? So, Peggy, I can see your hand raised right there. How are you?
Yeah, I got a lead and he actually want to put an offer for a property. And I asked him, do you have a realtor? And he said, yes. I say, well, that evaluation should be your realtor job to do it. And then he said, oh, I just want a second opinion. So I'm not sure what I can do because he already have representation and he wants to put an offer to the property. So I say, okay, I'll call you next day to give you a rough number. So that's how I ended the call. So I was like, oh my God, what should I do? I don't want to step into another agent's shoes. But he reached out to me for a second opinion.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. And where you're located, that's got to be mindful because if you're in the state,
Vancouver.
in Vancouver, okay, cool. So then I give you advice. So here's what I would do. If I got that call and someone said, hey man, we're putting in an offer and with that other agent, my first question would be like, okay, awesome. Why aren't you going to work with that agent to sell your house? Maybe they're like, oh no, I'm already thinking about it, but like, I just want a second opinion. I go, oh man, can I tell you what concerns me about that? Okay, so that's the trigger word. Can I tell you what concerns me about that? I would say if I was working with a family to buy their home, they would never think in a million years to pick up the phone and call any other realtor because they'd be so positive in my ability to help them buy this home and sell their home. What concerns me is that you don't even feel confident in the agent that you're working with. That is so scary. One of the biggest decisions. And I'll be like, hey, I just want to, for your own sake, like, are you currently under contract with them to sell your home? And they'll be like, yes or no. And they say no. I would be like, okay, good. So at least that opportunity is still open up for you to consider interviewing some other people that you actually think could be a good fit for you. And then for buying this home, what's your contract term? Are you under a 1-year term with them? Is it just for this one specific property? So I go like a little bit deeper and then they'd be like, whatever that is. And here's the thing, putting an offer is putting an offer. Doesn't mean they're going to get the house. Right? But you have an opportunity to build that relationship. So I would say, hey, listen, John, apparently everyone I talk to, his name is John. I'd be like, listen, John, I can tell you're obviously in the middle of an offer right now. I'm going to be praying that whatever's supposed to happen happens. But when it comes to the sale of your home, I'd love to give you an updated value and let you know what it is that we do to sell homes. So at least you could park your confidence in someone that's worthwhile doing so. And hey, listen, if that offer doesn't work out, or hey, if your contract runs out for your buyer representative, I would love the opportunity to show you what it is that we can work with you on that side of the transaction as well. Okay. And then I would close it right away, something along the lines of, hey, listen, so I have my calendar up in front of me. I know it's urgent because you're in the middle of an offer. Does tomorrow 2:00 work for you, or to be better in the evening past 7? And then I'd book that appointment right away. I'd book the appointment and I wouldn't call to follow up to say, hey, just a reminder, the appointment's here today because I don't want them to cancel. And I would just show up at their house. Because that's like the most trigger heavy person. They're already in the middle of real estate dealings. It's almost like there's a going on. I'm down to jump in. Like I'm down to jump in. And worst case scenario, you step on another agent's toes. With a lot of respects, who cares about that agent? That agent's not paying your bills. That agent's not taking care of your family. And that agent, probably not the greatest, because that would never happen to me, ever. No one ever working with me would pick up the phone and call any other agent, ever. Never has, never will, because I deal with them. That consumer is scared and clearly doesn't have the right confidence in the right person. So if anything, you're doing them a favor. And that's the frame of mind that you need to come from it. Hey, I'm actually helping these damn people. And then jump in. If that agent was good enough, the guy wouldn't have called you in the first place. So that's my take on it. I don't know if anyone would oppose my views. And if I was working with a family and they had to go do that and another agent got them, I'd call that other agent and be like, hey man, I clearly dropped the ball, man. I appreciate you picking it up for me and teaching me a good lesson. I wish you the best of luck. Then I'd call my clients and go, hey, I see you clearly decided to work with someone else. I wish you all the best. Is there anything that I could have done differently to secure and continually earn your business? That's what I would have done, because it's a learning opportunity for me, right? So it's all good. That's
Awesome. Thank you.
No worries. That's my take. Yeah. Now go call that guy right after this. Right away. Yeah. Anyone else? I saw some things come up in the chat, but guys, I don't have my glasses on, and I can't read that small. So let me see.
Yeah, Melissa was just making a comment as well as Susan. If you may, Melissa, would you like to comment with David? Okay, she was just saying how we can't meet with someone if they signed with another agent, and so Susan mentioned the same. Where they at?
And is that here in Canada or is that here in the States?
Melissa's in Austin,
Yeah, so and that's
Texas.
why, yeah, so I wanted to preface and say that, and that's why I had asked Peggy, was it? Yeah, and that's why I had asked Peggy where she's from, and she said she's from Vancouver. So I said, hey, because I'm in Canada, I know that I'm giving it to Canada, but yeah, in the States, I know it's a little bit of a different situation for you guys over there. So I guess the answer would be, hey, sorry, John, under Texas state, we're actually not able to have any further conversations with you. In the event that you're no longer represented, feel free to give me a call, and I'd love to have the opportunity to chat with you about your business needs then. And I'd cut it. From my mayor, is that the right answer? I see someone's hand up. If you want to give some insight there.
No, no insight to that, but you are correct. I just wanted to know, I'm getting some calls to where they just moved into their home, like within this year. They're not looking to sell. They just want to know evaluation because the market's so kind of crazy
Yep.
right now. I'm trying to catch them in other ways, like, do you want an investment property? Do you want, like, taxes are coming up? Can I help you with a CMA on your taxes to determine, is there, like, should we be, if they're not interested in selling at all, not going to be, should we be trying to hook them and put them on like a drip campaign or something to keep them on the line until they're ready? Or is it just a waste of time?
That's a great question, actually. That's like a super good question. I appreciate you asking that. So here's what I would say. Number one, it depends on where you're at in your business. So right now, for me, I don't think so. I don't think I'd be able to because I have way too many past clients and my phone just rings, right? If this was 5 years ago for me, I probably would, because here's what my thought would be. My thought would be, you guys just bought a year ago and you wanted to know what the value is. Your other agent that sold you the place is clearly not staying in contact with you. So your commitment to them is no longer existent. Now I have the opportunity to earn your trust, earn your favor, earn your recognition, earn the reliability that I'm the right person. And I'm like, okay, I could do that. And then I might dive a little bit deeper and be like, awesome, I'd love to give you an updated value. You just bought a year ago, right? Yeah. It's actually easier for us now. I'll go, awesome. I can actually pull up the old listing. Is there anything materially different that you did over the past year? And they'd say, no, big, oh, great. So that'd be a pretty easy CMA to run, right? It'd be actually pretty damn simple. I'd send it to them and I go, hey, just out of curiosity, how come you didn't call the agent that sold you this place to give you an updated value? This is something we do for our clients on an annual basis. And they'd be like, and then you get the story. And I'm like, okay, well, listen, with your permission, I know you're not moving right now. There's no pressure to do so, but you clearly didn't feel confident picking up the phone and call the realtor. So I want to show you that maybe I could be that person for you. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add you to our database. Every single year now, I'm just going to give you an updated value to let you know where the equity position in your home is. And the only thing I ask is if you ever want to do any renovations or change anything about your home, just run it by me or let me know just so we can make the updates accordingly. And I'm like, does that sound fair, Shannon? And they'll be like, yeah, I'm like, awesome, great. And I'm like, so Shannon, tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, what made you guys move here? And now I'm just trying to build a rapport. And you never know, you might strike gold with someone who's like, oh yeah, I'm a high up exec, XYZ. And it's like, if you can win fans that refer you, that's like the name of the game. Like I got some unbelievable clients that refer me to every single person and everybody they ever know. And it's like that, if I can build a relationship with someone like that who's now in my world, it's worth a shot. So that would be kind of my answer loosely. Depends on where you're at in your career. And if you were to take that avenue, I don't think it's, bad practice to get your another name in front of someone. And then at least when you put them on an email drip, they know who you are. They know your face. They know your name. They know the way you sound. They know the email you sent to them. They know the value that you can bring. And you kind of start winning their faith. It's almost like you win market share with that person, not yet with their transaction, but with that person. It's setting yourself up for an easy transaction 2, 3, 5 years out, if that makes any sense. So it really depends. I don't think it's a bad use of time. I think I answered that. Hopefully that was some good insight. And that's generic Canadian or US, okay, guys? Before I get ripped a new one. So that's generic for everybody. By the way, I'm actually a dual South American, so to all my Americans, what's up? Love you all. Actually, I think I love you guys better than I love Canada over here, to be honest. That's okay.
Hey, we need some root. All right.
Well, I got you.
By the way.
Listen, I'm Portuguese, so it's kind of like a little bit Spanish vibe. I don't know. I'm really pulling straws here, man. Pulling straws. All right, guys. Any other questions or anything at all that you have for me that I can bring some clarity to, or like any roadblocks you feel like you're heading into, or you want me to just ramble on with half the stuff I tell my team to get them into better production. Like, also FYI, every single person that works for me makes over $100,000 a year like clockwork. So if you have any other questions outside of the school stuff, that would be a value. Like our business is a lot of mindset stuff, right? Like understanding how to frame things. So commission negotiations, cool. You guys cool if I run through some commission negotiation, which I actually don't have anymore. People just pay me full commissions, but I just still know how to run that. That cool? Sick. Okay. So does anybody have any like okay, so can I give you two things, guys? Like, and this is like all of life. You ready for it? Like, this is gonna be some pretty dope stuff right here. So I'd listen up. So there's philosophy, like an understanding, and then there's specifics, like what you say and what you do. So the philosophy for me is that you never, ever talk about commission until you've fully had the opportunity to articulate value, and then you attach the price tag behind it. Because if you just say 5% commission to someone and you haven't had the opportunity, you haven't differentiated yourself, you haven't articulated value, they're just hanging up on you. Okay? You have to understand and have to better help them understand that it's actually a bit of a process for you to show them what you do, and then you can actually show them what your commission is. Okay? So in our market, high commission, or I'd say typical commission, is about 5%. Okay? That's broken up 2.5% to the cooperating side, and then 2.5% to the listing side. Okay, so maybe in the States it's 6%, 3 and 3. Does that sound about right? Right? And in the States and in Canada, you guys have discount brokers who will do things less. But we can also argue that they actually do less. Properties sell for less money, longer days on market, like all that other crap, right? Okay, cool. So number one, when I do my listing presentation, which is dialed in, it's perfect. I know it inside and out, upwards and backwards. This is the real key. If your listing presentation is good enough, there's no commission objection, because you just showed them that they need you to get this done, and they're excited to pay your commission. So in the absence of value and trust, there's tension and friction. So you can write that down. In the absence of value and trust, there's tension and friction. Okay. So absolutely, if I'm talking my commission and I haven't presented value or earned your trust, we're going to have friction. But if I've done a really good job demonstrating value and showing you how I'm going to take your home from preparation, marketing, presentation, the whole entire prep work, staging, photography, coverage, all these things, and I've demonstrated value. And along the way, also if you demonstrate how trustworthy I am by my over 100 5-star Google reviews, giving you a list of clients if you want to call for reference purposes, looking at all the homes that we sell, and just being an overall, like, just a good guy. So if I've earned those two, they're going to be like, man, I want to work with that guy. Right? So when I say 5%, this is how I typically do it. Okay. So I usually have a wheel. It's usually like a commission wheel. Okay. So it looks something like that. It's like a circle with a cut in half in it. And I'll say, guys, here's how commission's broken up. It's a commission circle wheel. And I'd say to continue in our marketing efforts and to continue along incentivizing those buyers, agents to bring over the buyers, I'm going to compensate them with 2.5% commission. Okay. And now this other portion over here is going to be the listing portion. I kind of remove myself. I don't say my team, I just black and white it, okay? So I say this portion over here is gonna be the listing commission. And this is how it's broken up, okay? The first one, I have put a line through, so I kind of make like a bit of a peace sign, okay? I say, that's what I gotta pay my listing brokerage. Any real estate agent that you hire, they have a listing brokerage. I don't care if it's RE/MAX, Royal LePage, Century 21, whomever it is that you hire, they have to pay their listing brokerage. The next piece, so I put a smaller piece like that, okay? I say, that's my taxes. And you guys work too, right? You can see your paycheck and then it gets cut away, and then all of a sudden this is what you're left with. Our job is no different, unless the real estate agent that you're considering hiring is taking the call behind bars and jail because they decided not to pay their taxes. They're going to be the exact same as us, okay? And now this portion over here and every portion I talk about is going to be a little bit subjective, so I just want to be open and upfront with that. This little portion right here, little third slice, that's my administrative cost. I have 6 full-time employees to run our transactions, facilitate all communications, and ensure this thing's a well-oiled machine. I got to pay their salary. So that's completely subjective. A lot of our competitors and maybe some other agents don't have that. And this piece over here, this is all of our marketing. Just so you guys know, everything that I mentioned, from the photography, the staging, the pre-home inspection, the cleaning service, all of our outbound marketing efforts, the custom website, everything I made mention, we're fully inclusive. I'm not going to start throwing random bills on you. It's my way to show you that I'm investing in your home process with you. Okay. And then this last portion right here, that little piece right there, that's what I get to take home. That's my salary. And that's what it is that I get to use those funds to pay my bills and support my family. Any questions at all on that? And again, if I've done a good job in the intro of my listing consultation, presenting value and building trust, you know what they say 9 out of 10 times? No, sounds good. And I go, awesome. Hey, you know what? I got some paperwork that we just need to get out of the way. And I start like kind of looking a little bit frantic. I go, hey, we got some paperwork we got to get out of the way. I only brought one pen. Do you guys have an extra one so we can get this done a little quicker? And then I put my head down and the wife, it's always the wife. She's like, oh yeah, give me one sec. And goes. And I'm like, done. And we sign the paperwork and I get out there. 100% of the time, that's exactly how it works. Unless they go, well, and now the commission objections come up, which again, very seldom do, but they'll be like, hey, David, you know, someone else said that they would do it for less commission, right? Let's say 4% total instead of 5. So we're talking about 1% here. I'll go, oh, okay. Then, so now the wife chooses not to go up and get the pen. And I'd be like, oh, okay. Well, let me just ask you, so make sure we are comparing apples to apples. They're covering every single thing I may mention, the staging, the photography, the home inspection, like all that stuff. And sometimes they'll go like this, no, which is simple then. It's like, oh yeah, because remember right over here where I said all the marketing budget, it's still the same thing. They just chose not to market your home and they're just going to pay themselves. But didn't we talk about the importance of marketing your home and getting it exposed to the most amount of qualified buyers? That's actually what's going to ultimately lead us to generate a sale. So that's actually doing you guys a disservice. All they're doing is cutting corners. You don't want to hide its corners, do you? No. So I would do something like that, or I would pull something along the lines of like, hey, okay, David, that person is exactly what you do, which is freaking crazy. Good on them. They're willing to go broke faster than I am. So, okay, perfect. Okay, David, they do all the other stuff that you do. Or sometimes people just don't have any value. They're like, I don't give a shit, David, about staging. Doesn't really make a difference. And it's like, sometimes you're just dealing with stubborn people. And I'll go, okay, listen, you're John. Let me just ask you a simple question. You say they're offering everything that I offer. And you're saying that commission aside, who do you just feel more confident that's going to represent your home better and get you guys the most amount of money? And they'll be like, honestly, David, it's you. And I'm like, so commission aside, you know I'm the guy. So what are we really talking about here? $10,000? You don't think I can generate you guys $10,000 more? And then I would flip it and go, that other agent was so quick to reduce their own commission to earn your business. How fast do you think they're going to give up your own money when they're negotiating with another agent just to get a deal done? And to be honest, I've had those phone calls from those weak agents and I've got my buyers amazing deals. You don't want to do that. Trust me. Allow me to represent you in your home and take care of your money the same way I take care of my money and get the most amount of it humanly possible. Done. Those are all my commission tricks and tips, but simply put, I really don't have to use them too often. If you really do a job presenting and demonstrating your value in advance and you earn the trust of others, we're actually talking about, honest to God, guys, next year, I'm talking about increasing my commission to 6%, where we still cooperate 2.5%, but I start taking 3.5%, because my average staging bill is $4,500. My average staging bill. I have to do pre-home inspection, which is about $600-700. I have to do cleaning bill, which is another $500, give or take. All of our marketing efforts kind of equate to about another $3,000. And I'm like, man, we're doing way more than all of our competitors, and we're actually getting the job done time and time again. And I have a pretty impressive resume. So I'm like, you know what? If you want a Bentley, I'm the guy. If you want a Toyota Corolla, I'm not your guy. So I think that's where we're going to for this next year, to be very honest with you guys. And people are willing to pay it. People are excited to pay it. And people want the best of the best. The only watches I wear is Rolex. It's the only watch I wear because I actually appreciate the brand. I appreciate what it stands for. And I appreciate the ingenuity behind building these watches. I don't want a Timex. I'm not knocking anybody else, but I'm like, there's other people like me who consume like that for everything. They want the best houses, the best cars, the best realtors, the best accountants, the best lawyers. And I'm like, let me just go compete in that space with those people, right? And again, it's just an elevation of how you feel about yourself, because that's really how you're going to perceive things. But that's what we tell all of our agents all the time. So hopefully there was some good clarity there for you guys on the commission stuff. Do you guys get some good stuff on that? Yeah, super cool. Also, to give you guys some more context, man, just a little bit about me, just be super transparent and vulnerable. Guys, I'm 28 years old, okay? I have a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old. So here's my background. My phone's my 9-year-old. That's my 5-year-old. And I'm still with my middle school girlfriend, okay? So the reason why I'm sharing all that stuff is I got in this business when I was 18 going on 19, kind of in take right around there. And it was so hard for me because who the hell wanted to trust this 18-year-old kid with any money, right? And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. None of this is real other than how I perceive, how I feel, if it is real or not. And I just put on a suit every single day. I went after it every single day. and I won over everyone's favor. I started doing more business than everybody. I was rookie of the year. I made $260,000 my first year in the business. I was so determined because I'm like, oh, I can actually do this thing. And there was no difference. Like people like, whatever your excuse is, it's like I was literally, I had a high school dropout, whatever you want to put it, broke with my middle school girlfriend, living in a basement apartment, pregnant. Like it didn't matter. It's like, oh, what was I going to do? Like either make my story or have it be told to me by other people that I don't even value. It doesn't make any sense. So I continue to tell myself exactly who I am. My wife continues to remind me who I am. My kids expect this thing of me. So I just encourage all of you guys just to figure out where it is that's going to make you feel like you actually reserve the right to pick up the phone and call one more person or go on one more appointment or stand up for your commission and negotiate yourself. Because that's where I find a lot of disparity in kind of our industry. So I just want to give you guys a little insight because I don't want anyone on this call being like, oh yeah, well maybe the David guy, his dad has been in real estate for 20 years and he just gets to jump in or whatever. Like, no, like I decided to do this career by myself and I knocked on about 150 to 200 doors a day. That's what I did my first year in the business and I made $260,000 and I was 19 at that time. Okay. And my car was broke. Like you guys, and I had a blast. It was actually so much fun. It was like these cell phone providers go knock on doors and they make like 30 grand a year. And I'm out here with the opportunity to shake someone's hand. I don't have to build a product. I don't have to convince someone to buy it. They need it. Everyone needs a house under, like it was such a fun, exciting time that I still take a ton of joy in. So just kind of wanted to share that with you guys a little bit, just so you can really just, embody that however it is that you may, but just freaking go get after it. It's out there to take. And I've been taking for a while. It's freaking awesome. Buddy, you have your hand up over there?
Yeah, you kind of just answered my question, but if you don't mind, where in Canada are you located?
I am on the, like, how well do you know the GTA?
Very well.
Very
I'm
well.
in
Okay.
Ottawa, but I know GTA.
Yeah, so I'm in like Georgetown. I'm a little
Okay,
north
okay.
of Chicago.
Yeah. Okay. The reason I ask is because advice for newer agents, and you just said door knocking 150 to 200 doors a day, like between cold calling, events,
But
networking,
dude,
all that stuff.
if I could do it all over again, like now day and age, I would do Maskula all day of the week. And I'm not even just saying that, like dead serious. Actually, like the warmness that it gives you, that's awesome. I love dealing with those leads. They're super fun calls when you know what you're doing. And then door knocking all day, which is the best way. Like cold calling is tough. What Maskula is doing is they're generating warm underhand tosses for you. Okay. Now, some of them are shit, but they're doing a really good job of alleviating it. But when I'm going door to door, it's all warm. They're seeing my face, they're having the opportunity to speak with me, and it gives you that sharp poise on how to eloquently speak about things. And I just did it so many reps, and then I kind of just realized I started growing like this. I'd hear other people talk about the market, and then I'd hear about me talk about the market. I was just better than them. I spoke better than them. I had more reps under the belt than them. They were always like just back. And I was like, no, I'm going to knock on doors every day. And I think it was Alex Ramosi that said it. He said, you want to be the best at cold calling? Don't read a damn book. Go make 1,000 dials. Make 1,000 dials.
If you don't mind, a follow-up question regarding door knocking. Did you, because you know the weather, and especially like in Ottawa, do you do it all year round or in the summers or?
So no, again, I was in a basement broke with my pregnant girlfriend that everyone thought I was a fucking loser. So I don't even think twice about the weather. I would actually in the wintertime did the best because it was always like the single moms or something like, oh, come inside, come inside. And then like go inside. I've had tea with people. And like, again, I'm just having the opportunity to build relationships. Like, yeah, man. And you know what, too? I've also had some other people who just appreciate the hustle. They're like, people say, like, I remember when I was hardworking like you and like all these things and, admirable business people that just appreciate the hustle. Then you get the losers who slam the door in your face or whatever, but they're broke mind. I don't want to be around those people anyways. So they actually did me a big favor by slamming the door in my face because it's like, I don't even want you in my world. I want those people who are like, I remember the struggles of starting my business. I remember when I went bankrupt and I had to do it all over. Like, I like those people. Those people inspire me. I just want to be around them as my clients. And it's a blast, man. They're really smart. Like some of my best clients were super wealthy. One thing they've said time and time that they like again of me is how young I am, how much more longevity I have than the competitors, because not only will they work with me, they know their kids are going to be able to work with me when I have to deal with their estate. Like these are smart people, man. And they're like, yeah, this is my guy. You're 28. Okay, I'll be dead by the time you're 50. You'll have built this empire. You'll feel indebted to me. You'll work with my kids now. They're like, all right, cool, bet. Let's go. Like, it's so interesting to see how they perceive things, man. And I'm like, yeah. And they've helped teach me a lot. And I want to be around those people. But when you were saying earlier, I'm trying to convince people to buy, it's like, man, just don't preach to deaf ears. Tell them to have a good day. You'll always be there. Be super respectful. I'm a very respectful guy. I'm never trying to talk ill about nobody, but be super. I'm just trying to find my people. And I tell everyone the same thing. I sell oranges. If you want to buy lemons, don't come to me. I'm looking for people who want oranges because I don't got to sell them. It's like, oh, you want oranges? Bro, I got them. Here's how much it costs. Transaction done. If they want lemons, it's very frictiony. I'm like, well, it's technically a citrus and yellow's not too different from orange. It's like, no, man, that's tiring. Just, I want it to be like a gel fit, like just butter, right? It's a fun way to do business. And in the beginning of my career, it wasn't as fun, man. I was working with a lot of people that I didn't really value, didn't want to spend time with, and it's very tiring. Now I can run even longer and faster, but I'm excited when I get phone calls from people. I'm excited to be around the people that I'm with, right? So I'm just encourage you guys to all put yourself in that category. Don't have to feel like you have to go and cut your teeth to there. Just jump there right away. You'll be fine. I see two people with their hands up. Buddy at the top with the headphones. What's your name there, bro? Rocky. Oh, what a sick name.
What's going on, David? How are you? I'm actually an EXP agent. I know you probably know Pascal. He's my upline guy.
Oh yeah, Pascal is. I guess I'm not good with EXP, man. I'm in there. I'm in the organization somewhere, man. I'm in there.
So I asked this question to Jake. Same thing as you, just in terms of door knocking. What was your approach to door knocking every time, when you did go? Like, for example, right now I just sold a home in the area, so I can piggyback off of that and say, hey, listen, what would your start be? What would
So my start would be this, man. So I would be like this. I'd be like, Rocky, answer the door for me, bro.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, brother, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. Listen, hey, my name's David. I'm a local realtor. Don't worry, I'm not a Jehovah's Witness. I'm not gonna try to ask anything. Just letting you know that we had the opportunity to work with one of your neighbors right up the road, and we sold their house for a really great value. And we actually sold it in multiple offers. There was 2 extra buyers who really wanted to be in this area. So I actually chatted with both their agents and said, you know what? I just did a deal here. People probably know who I am. I'm going to take it upon myself to go connect with the neighborhood to see if anyone might be planning to sell within the next 6 to 12 months. So have you chatted with anyone? Do you know if anyone at all on the streets thinking about maybe selling?
No, not right now at the moment. We like this neighborhood. We're going to stay here for a while.
Gotcha. But no, Rocky, do you know if anyone on the street, like, the area better than I do, right? Like, I had the opportunity to sell you, but do you know if anyone on the street has ever chatted with you, or maybe you can point me in the right direction?
Actually, yeah, my guy a couple of doors down, he was actually thinking about selling.
Oh, cool, man. Well, I'll definitely go after that. And you said you guys love this area, right? Like, how long have you been here now for?
About 10 years.
Cool, man. Well, listen, you've been here 10 years already. Is this area in this home still serving its purpose that you guys chose 10 years ago? Or do you think you will be considering a move in the next couple of years?
No, we like it for now. I think we'll be here for a little while.
I don't blame you, man. Our guys up the road, I don't know if you had the chance to know them, they're really devastated about leaving this area. It's such a great area. But hey, listen, you know what? One last thing I could do for you, brother, just let me know if you find it to be a value. Rather than having someone come knock on your door, letting you know that they sold the house, what's the best email to get you to, man? I can just let you know every time a home goes up for sale in the area and anytime a home sells. What's the best email to send that to?
You can send it to rockytherealtor@gmail.com.
Awesome. And then when I send email, sometimes we get flagged for spam because we send so many out. What's the best number to reach you at, just so I can let you know what's in your inbox?
All right, 647-922-8549.
Awesome, brother. And sorry, you said your name was Rocky? Rocky, nice to meet you.
Rocky.
My name is David. It's a pleasure, brother. If you ever need anything, don't hesitate to reach out, man. Have yourself a great day. Then I bounce.
Awesome.
That is Rocky's now. Yeah, there you go. So the thing there, you just got to go with the script a little bit. So the first thing there was like an overspill of buyers. The other one you could do is like, hey, we sold it so fast that I have other agents calling me because they feel like they missed out. So I told them I'd take it upon myself to reach back out through the neighborhood, right? So just got to find the value prop as to why you're going to someone's door, right? Or it's like, hey, we just sold, you can simply tell them the price. Hey, listen, here's how much it is that we sold the home for, just sharing it with the neighborhood. And we just did, at least now you have a little bit of an equity perspective. Did you get a chance to see it online? You had a chance to see how that home looked and like, oh yeah, ours is way better. I'm like, oh, sweet. We sold theirs for 1.4. Yours is way better. Like, awesome. And then they're excited to tell you about the stuff that they did. They might even welcome you in. Like, just going to that door, man, my biggest encouragement, like, you'd be surprised what happens. And when you sell something in the area, or you just listed something in the area, or you're inviting them to an open house, you actually have a tremendous amount of credibility to speak with them. So it's all good.
Right.
Not there to be rude to you. And then I usually have like, I just sold with some stuff. And on the back of it, I have a testimonial from the sellers. So I'm like, hey guys, want to let you know we sold this house. And by the way, like, this is what the sellers have to say about working with us. So, it's very credible now again too. Like, your neighbor just gave me a 5-star Google review that's like a paragraph long about how their experience was. So it's a little bit more of social proof. Remember what I said earlier? In the absence of trust and value, there's friction, etc. Remember that? I'm from day one. I'm like, if I can just earn your trust, I'm good. And I've had people I know God is my witness. I've had people call me saying, "Hey, you knocked on my door 2 years ago. We're ready to sell our house." And I go through there and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't even remember them, but they remember me. And here's another thing that I tell my entire team that I'll tell you guys. Anybody here give out business cards? Show hand. Okay, cool. I don't give out a card ever. Never have, never will. And because where do they go? We all know where they go. They go in the garbage, man. They go in a BS drawer, like maybe on the side of the fridge. And I tell my agents this all the time. We're not in the business of handing out business cards. We're in the business of leaving lasting impressions. There will never be a business card as good enough as me, ever. So I make sure when I have the opportunity to engage with someone and shake their hand and look them in the eye and have a conversation with them, I walk away and they walk away going like, shit, that guy's sharp. Man, that guy's on the ball. He's brushing his teeth later before he goes to bed and go, hey, babe, you see a realtor guy up the street? Man, when we're selling, we're going to call that guy. Like that's how far I'm thinking about things. Like that's where I want to get to. And I've seen the byproduct of it. And you'll never realize this until it really starts clicking. Everybody's watching. Every neighbor, when I put up a listing, they know me. I've sold over a dozen homes within a 400 home radius, okay, in the past 2 years. And they just keep calling me and they keep talking and they just call me now. It's like, okay, it's just happening. Like it just starts popping off. And it's because people are watching, man, and I'm leaving impressions on them. Okay, so I would just encourage you guys, business cards are cool, but leaving lasting impressions on people, that is where you get paid, man. That's the sweet spot and stuff.
Hey, Dave, quick question. Do you use Follow Up Boss?
Everyone on this call should.
Everyone on the call should be. All right.
Follow Up Boss is that I've used every CRM, Chime, Top Producer. Like guys, the reason why I am is I'll be here so bad. I want it to be so freaking good at this. I wanted to prove everyone wrong. I wanted to prove my wife that she's not an idiot for getting pregnant from her middle school, like you name it, man. And I went through everything. I've been in every CRM you can imagine. I've flirted with every brokerage you can imagine. So Follow Up Boss is the one. Trust me. I did all the homework for everybody. It's the one. So
perfect. Thanks, buddy.
No worries, brother. We'll catch you around apparently, man. I'll catch you around.
Yeah, for sure.
Catch you, man. And then Bob, how are you, man?
I'm good, brother. How you doing?
Good, man. I noticed that you had your hand up for a little bit, man. Just wanted to make sure I spent a couple minutes with you before this call ends so I could chat with you.
So I had somewhat similar. I started around 21, 22 in real estate, and it took me seriously either. But I did the door knocking and it worked.
At least you can grow facial hair, man.
Yeah, I know. Well, that came later on. After I got married, my wife made me grow it, but I'm glad she did. But yeah, so I did door knock for a while. It was relatively effective, and I got tired of walking around the heat and the cold, and so I switched to door hangers, and I put a lot of door hangers up. Took a break from real estate, and just, didn't have that same fire as before when I came back to it. I got back to it recently. I've been doing pretty good buying online leads. You had said if you could go over, you would end up in Missoula more than door knocking this time around. So I've been with them now, maybe like my first week going into it. I've only gotten like 5 or 6 leads so far. When does that number start to pick up? Or is it like, hey, you got to double down on investing in Missoula to get the returns? Like, when does that start to happen? Because I want to be on the phone every single day, multiple times a day. So between this and realtor.com, I'm getting some leads, but how do I get that higher?
Yeah, man. So I appreciate that, John, brother. Appreciate you sharing all that stuff with me. So here's just make sure that I wasn't misconstrued. If I had to start over again, here's the 2 things I would do. Number 1 is I'd invest in the school of leads. The second piece of the puzzle is I would get out there and door knock in a community that I'm excited about. And the reality is 4 a day, 5 a day, 10 a day, 100 a day. People don't have a lead problem. People have a consistency problem. So the agents on my team, I notice when I pause and don't give them as many leads and it's smaller, all of a sudden the number of dials that they make stay the same, except they have to deal with the same prospect more and they get a better outcome in return, right? So I would encourage you that more isn't always the solution. Be better is actually the answer. Okay. So if you gave me someone today and I only got 1 lead a month, I'd make that work. people get complacent because they get it and they stop becoming consistent. So I would encourage you to find, and this is what I tell everyone. And I think, Victor, last time you guys had me on the call, I talked a little bit about my calendar a little bit.
Correct.
Yeah. I don't know if that video is up anywhere or people can go back and watch it, but like my shit is so dialed. And it's not to any of you, it's not to say, look how cool my calendar is. I just said, like, I'm in this business to design a life that I'm excited to lead, to have all my stuff set up, when I'm generating leads, when I'm following up with people, when I'm supposed to go on appointments, and I have different types of appointments that I go on, right? When I have internal meetings, when I spend time with my family, when my kids' sports are, and I just have like the perfect schedule, and I just know what the inputs are in all those areas, and it just works. So what I encouraged myself to do was find a calendar that I can keep consistent, because everyone on this call, I think we have three types of currency, right? We have Canadian, there's a peso, right? And then we have the USD, right? But the real currency that we should all be focusing on is consistency. That's the currency, not fucking Canadian, not USD. It's what can I stay consistent long enough and such that the money will come. And what happens is people, like you just mentioned, kind of like a bit of a roller coaster. I did this for a little bit, but then I switched to this. And then what happens is people start here, they start here, and then they go there, and then they go there, and then they go there. And this is like a 10-year period. What I chose to do was just go straight. So the amount of linear footage coverage from here to here to here to here, rather than being sideways, I just straightened that out. And that's been my entire trajectory since I stepped foot in this business. I haven't stopped doing the main things that matter, which is generating contacts, generating leads, following up with people, negotiating contracts, going on listing appointments. Like there's such basic metrics in this industry to follow to see where your success is going to be. So I just stuck with that from day one. And I would just encourage you to find a calendar that you can stay consistent in and find some things that you're excited to do on a regular basis and just go do that. So I would stick with the school of leads. I'd get out there door knocking, 3 times a week as a non-negotiable. I'd encourage all of you too, guys, like determine non-negotiables in your life, man. Like, my whole life really started taking shape when I started saying no to way more things than what I said yes to. And I was like, no, man, I'm gonna have these non-negotiables, right? Fitness is a big thing for me. Health is a big thing for me. I love going to church, so I make sure to church with my family. It's a big thing for me. Staying true to my kids, bedtime with them, like stuff like there's certain things in my life I'm like, yo, that's not betting on. And my life has been dramatically better once I got through that. So dialing in the calendar, keeping consistency around that, that's when you're going to see exciting results versus feeling burned out. Am I doing the right thing? What's happening right now? Why isn't this working for me? And I see too many people go there, and I get it, man. It's exhausting. It's super, super hard. But that's my.
So if I'm hearing you correct, because one of the things I'm running into is when I do have a chance to speak to someone, I'll speak to them. But some of the leads right now are non-responsive, numbers bad, it's not working. But I jumped in right when you were saying, I'll go drop something off to their house. So maybe if I'm hearing you correct, is just kind of do that process, include door knocking 3 days a week. Because in the neighborhood I live in, I did a 6 to 10 month mailing campaign here where I was door hangers. I got no results from it, but there are 20 sales every single year.
You won't get any results from that because, like, how many people get flyers at the door? Anyone? Right? Everyone's hand should be up, right? People get flyers all the time. Having flyers coupled with face-to-face interaction makes these flyers become real. They go, oh, honey, I met this guy, right? They'll talk to me a little bit about it before they throw it in the garbage. So it's not a one-size-fits-all. There's different areas that you need to hit, especially if you're trying to run like an effective farm and stuff. But again, I would put a rhythm and a cadence together that you're excited about keeping consistently, because this business, it's not a sprint. A lot of people run it like a sprint, and that's why their income goes up and down, a marathon. And I'm a marathon runner, and I can do this for probably another 10 years, and then I'm probably going to retire. I'm being dead serious. I got about another 10 years of me, and then I'm out. I'm like done. I'm not real estate anymore. I have, like, real estate's been on for me, and this is another really big thing. Real estate isn't it for me, guys. It's a piece for me right now. I have bigger and better plans after real estate. I'm just allowing real estate to build up my name, build up my reputation, build up my accolades, and I'm using that as the vehicle to get me where I ultimately want to go to. So I think it's another reason why I'm doing so well is because this isn't it for me. A lot of people can't think far enough, so they're over here thinking like this is it, and they're having really menial results because they're not thinking big enough. I'm like, this isn't it. I don't want to do this forever. It's just not my thing. So when I see a lot of the people, they act like they have time. I personally act like I have time. I'm a busy guy. I like to go. I really value my time. So I push and I meet other people and they don't really vibe like that. I'm like, oh, that's probably another reason why I'm doing really well. That's because I'm rushing everything. I'm like, everything is important. Everything needs to be done yesterday. And we got to do it now. Like that's my whole, and that's why a lot of people who work for me, they find it very hard to work for me. My wife says my standards are unreasonable. And I argue that I'm just pushing everyone because I do believe everyone could be doing better, and myself included, right? Like this was a challenging year for all of us, yet I made the most amount of money I've ever made in my career, and I've worked twice as hard to do it. I was excited to run that run. It's freaking awesome. I got really tested this year in a lot of different ways, more than one, and I knew I was going to come out the other end better for it, and that was exciting for me, right? So I would just say again, man, not sound like a broken record, find a schedule, a cadence, and a routine that you're excited about, that you can stick with, and has the key metrics to actually generate money, okay? Generating leads, following up with people, negotiating contracts, going on appointments, and scripts. Listen, guys, if you follow me on Instagram, I will not follow any of you back. And this isn't to say I'm a rude guy. The only people I follow on Instagram are past clients or anyone who inspires the shit out of me or anyone that can help me in my life. That is it. So I follow a lot of people who are incredibly good at sales, and I like to follow them to see what new things that they're teaching their huge organizations that are generating billions of dollars revenue a year. But yeah, I follow look at other people's followers on Instagram, and it's like, bro, that's why you're like, it just doesn't line up. So for me, I'm super intentional with even the social outlets I use. I want to make sure all the inputs are really serving me well around the areas that I want to grow at. And we're all salespeople, so all of us should consistently become better salespeople. Yet our day-to-day activity, if I ask any of you guys how many sales conferences or sales books you read in the past month, everyone would probably say 0. And it's like, well, you can't just stumble into being a good salesperson. It's a very unique skill set. Okay, there's a lot of psychology involved in it. There's a lot of things actually involved in it. And I've studied it for years now. And I'm super intentional about continually growing myself and developing myself in those areas because I understand how they correlate to my income, right? So I would encourage a lot of you as well that salesmanship is a very important skill set. And it's, again, if you want to just follow the right Instagram pages, if you want to follow, the right people, if you want to read the right books, if you want to go to right courses and seminars. Another thing you'll know with me, you'll never catch me at a real estate conference unless I'm speaking at it, because I don't want to be in a room with other realtors. I go to conferences with people who are doing tech acquisitions and big stuff because I'm like, guys, how are you running your businesses? How are you structuring your organization? I don't want to talk with a bunch of realtors because they're kind of all at the same level. It's exciting to go in different industries and see how people are doing it at a huge scale. So I think that's another thing I'd encourage you guys is stretching beyond the horizon. And then a lot of this stuff just kind of catches up because now you're thinking bigger. Does that make sense? It's like a tree, man. If we grew it inside of a small room, the tree would only be this big. But if we took the ceiling off, the tree now has no limitations. And real estate is kind of like that room. It's everyone's like on small things, but if we got more things in there and took the ceiling off, and we again focus on being good salespeople. No brokerage I've ever been to, they teach you like, hey, here's your scripts. It's like, no, there's way more than that. There's psychology books you need to read. There's different courses that you need to read. Like there's so many things that are involved in being a salesperson. So I would encourage you guys as well to get excited about that. And this is the perfect time going to November and December. Like I'm done selling houses, guys. I'm done. Like my year's done. That I'm wrapped up for the year. My goals, I had all my numbers. Rocky, I know you're an EXP, so you can go pull up and see exactly how much my numbers were for this year. Hit my goals, I'm done. I'm good. November, December, it's struggle month. Can't put a listing on the market. You're not getting any activity. But like I'm ramping up for now. And this right now, November, December for my business is focusing on leadership courses, right? Focus on sales development and focus on our business systems to prepare us for next year market, right? And I already have 6 listings under contract that are going on the market second week of January. So I'm already building my next year pipeline under contract, scheduled, ready to go, staging, everything's dialed up. We did all of the fall photography so we can have all the exteriors done. Like I don't work November, December, so I can plan for the next year and have a killer next year. And I typically take the last 2 weeks of August off, spend time with the family, right? So that's a big piece of my puzzle. I just figured I'd share with you guys as well, because it'll help pay dividends in so many areas in your life. So hopefully that was some good insight. I know we ran 10 minutes over on the call. Hopefully you guys got some good stuff from that. And that's it for me today, guys. That's all I got.
David, real quick, what books do you recommend? Your top 2 about sales, real estate?
I will 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, huge one. How to Win Friends is Influence People. Those are probably two two basics I would start with. One of them is a really good perspective on like what the tangible things are. And then the other one is how to engage the correct conversations of people. And our team has kind of read them both as like a team unit. And it's so interesting to hear other people's perspective on what they got from it. So it's super good. If you guys want to join a book club or something like that, like listen, guys, some of the wealthiest people I know, they don't have a fucking TV in their house and they're rich, but they got a library. They're rich. They understand the value of downloading the right content. And that's why, again, in like our digital age, I started getting anxiety because I'm like, man, I'm getting people are following me on Instagram and this, and then I'm looking, I'm like, that's not really adding value. And I'm not like inconsiderate, but I'm like, everything I'm going to do, I'm going to try to do for the impact of one of my goals. And a lot of times people's goals aren't like streamlined. So they're just kind of doing things for the sake of doing them. And I'm just like super intentional. If I could just encourage you guys to be super intentional going into 2025, your life will change. Yeah.
Appreciate it, David.
And also I'll ask Jake. Jake actually has a full list of all the books that we recommend to all of our agents. I think it's 12, 13 books, something like that all of our agents read. I can get that list sent out to you guys. And again, just one at a time. And honestly, I think even 12 is a lot. There's probably 3-4 books that are really going to hit hard with you. I would read them over time and time again. Like, don't learn for learning's sake, learn for execution's sake. There's so many guys, like, you know what the crazy thing is, and this is the last thing I'll say before I get out of here. I don't even know. So Rocky, you know SkySlope?
Yeah.
I don't know how to log into SkySlope. I don't know.
You kidding?
I don't know anything about, because all I wanted to know is how do I sell more houses? Who do I need to be around? What are everything else administratively? I don't do. I don't write my own offers. I don't do anything that takes up a minute of my time that's not bad spent. I don't do it. Whereas I find too many people are trying to hold on to too many things. So that's why I've been able to really accelerate my growth, is when I let a lot of stuff go. I got really good systems in play. I read really good systems books. There's another really good book called E-Myth, a freaking amazing book. Started getting dialed in with all these things and started hiring out a lot of stuff. And my growth went exponential when I started running my career like a business rather than running around like a realtor in a very changing market, right? So I'll leave that encouragement for you guys. Muscula is the best though. FYI, I use them personally myself. So you guys are on the right track, in partnership and in line with the right piece of the puzzle. But that really is it. Muscula is just a piece of the puzzle. If you don't have the rest of the board dialed in, there's so many other aspects to it, right? So hope you guys got some good value. If everyone took some notes. And I don't know, when's the next time I'm doing the call with you, brother? When's the next time? Victor, is it not next Wednesday, the following Wednesday?
Right. It's every 2 weeks. Correct. Next session will be Jake Nicole.
Yeah. And listen, guys, Jake is my business partner. So, and I brought Jake this business and he made $750,000 his first year in the business. And I told him exactly what to do, when to do it. He did it. That was the biggest difference I saw between him and every other realtor. He did it. After year 1, I saw year 2, he did it again. And I said, yo, bro, for year 3, let's talk about the logistics of partnering together, because I do believe that the power in numbers. And since we've been pulled in together, our team alone this year has done over 140 million in volume between 5 people. That's a big flex across everywhere. And we just kind of figured it out. Next year, we're projected, and we actually just ran our numbers for this year. Give me 1 sec. Next year, we're projected to do 235 million in volume between 7 people. 235 million will be our sales volume between 7 people for 2025. And that's kind of our conservative projections. And the reason I'm saying that is Jake is my better half in this business, helping me out. So I would encourage you guys, next time you hop on with him, the guy's a wealth of knowledge. I think the world of him. He'll be able to answer any questions you guys have. He's awesome.
Hey, David, let's make it 8 people. I'll join you guys.
Oh, this man. Rocky over here is a smart guy, eh? Rocky over here is a smart guy. We'll see.
All right, for sure.
Well, okay, guys, listen, I'll leave it to it. I got a 2:30 appointment that I got to run to. Guys, I wish everybody well. I wish everyone continued success. Stay well. And if I don't see any of you guys again until next time, just take care.
Let's roll. Thank you guys so much. David Rubio, thank you for the value. Appreciate you all.